On your screen, it might say that it's being recorded. Please click on continue to continue staying in the session. The purpose of today is for you to spend some time with us to connect on how you can best support your students as they transition and start at SFU. It's a big achievement for them to begin SFU, and we're excited to have them join us this fall. But we also realize with COVID-19, there is a lot of challenges that have come up in these unprecedented times, and that you may have a lot of questions. We'll do our best to answer your questions and provide you with as much information as we can. One of the things I was also going to mention as well is during the presentation portion, my colleagues are going to go through different forms of information. If you do have a question, feel free to include that in the chat box. There's a little button at the bottom of the Zoom screen that says chat. If you click on it, please make sure to send your question to everyone so that we can have these questions come in and we'll respond to them during the Q&A portion. As a quick overview for today, I'm going to do a bit of a quick introduction so you get to know who our presenters are. They'll also be doing a quick presentation as well, just to go over some key information. You may have already received a pre-recorded information that was sent just to give you an idea of student success and different things to expect. However, we recognize that there's a lot of information that you may have to grapple with, and we'll do our best to recap some of those key information and supports that will be essential for your students when they start in the fall. And then we'll try to spend a lot of time during the Q&A, and would also wrap up with some follow-up information that we'll send to you by email. As a quick disclaimer, with lots of changes happening with immigration and lots of moving parts, the information in this presentation is accurate as of today. And so we encourage you to make sure you also check in the Government of Canada website for up-to-date immigration information. With some quick introductions, I'm going to be quickly going over our colleagues here. You might see on the screen that we have Karen, who is the Manager for International Students and Advising Programs with the International Services for Students, called ISS for short. We also have our colleague, Ricky, who is a Transition Case Manager with Health and Counseling Services. Tina, my lovely colleague from Student Engagement and Retention, is an academic advisor joining us today as well. And Maylene, who is also from the International Services for Students, is an international student advisor and immigration specialist. So we're in good hands, is all I'm really saying through the slide. And of course, myself from Student Engagement and Retention, who coordinates programs with FIC, so First International College and SFU, is also going to be moderating this Q&A session. So before we begin, I think we're going to launch a Zoom poll. We want to get to know you a little bit more and your students who are going to be joining us today. So we're going to include a quick poll question. Maylene, would you mind perhaps launching that poll? And our question for you, just to get a bit of warm up here, is your student currently inside or outside of Canada? So feel free to click on the poll option and let us know where your students will be joining us for the fall. It's always fun to watch these options keep moving. So yes, please let us know where you're joining in from or where your students are residing currently. Just from what we see, just ending the poll, it looks about most of your students are actually outside of Canada. So that's very interesting to see. Thank you so much for engaging with us and telling us this information. So moving on to the presentation portion, that information is actually helpful because it will guide my colleagues in some of the information that they share with you. I'm going to actually pass it on to our colleagues at the International Services for Students office.
Thank you, Precious. Hello, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for taking the time to joining us today. We really hope the following information will assist in supporting your student. My name is Karen, and I work at International Services for Students, an office that supports international students during their transition as well as journey at SFU. Our team of advisors provides a non-academic services and supports, such as advising on employment regulations, medical insurance, immigration information services, as well as transition supports and programming for students. Currently, all of our services are delivered through various remote methods, as you can see on the slide, and they're in detail outlined on our departmental website. During this very different times, as Precious mentioned, it is very important to monitor our website for the most up-to-date information and updates. And I will invite Mailing, our international student advisor, immigration specialist, to highlight some of the very important latest updates.
Thank you, Karen. So in the next slide, I'm going to talk about some of the key updates related to immigration regarding the COVID-19. So I hope that you have had a chance to review the pre-recording family orientation video before our session today, that you are going to find some information briefly about the immigration updates related to COVID-19. And sorry, Precious, do you mind just moving to the next slide for me? Thank you. So as we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted all of us in the past few months in very different ways. As the situation with COVID-19 continues to evolve very rapidly and things are always changing, especially when it comes to immigration, as my colleague Precious has previously mentioned, the information we share with you today is only accurate as to my best knowledge as of today, which is, for those who are watching the recording, that's August 14th, 2020. There have been a lot of changes that has been implemented by both provincial government and also the federal government in Canada during the past few months. A great online resource to explore is our COVID-19 FAQ page, where you and your student can find information on the latest updates on study permit, visa, travel information, medical insurance, and additional resources and support available for international students at SFU. We will also include this link to our COVID-19 FAQ page in the follow-up email that will be sent to all the registrants. So next, I will like I mentioned, I would like to touch on some of the high-level updates on the immigration and medical insurance matters. So first of all, students may begin their program of study online from outside Canada without having a valid study permit. However, they will need to have a valid study permit in order for them to complete all in-Canada components of studies later on. Secondly, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada confirmed that distance learning completed in for 2020 term will not impact study permit compliance or eligibility for the post-graduation work permit, provided that the student will complete at least 50% of the program within Canada, and they have either a valid study permit, or they have been approved for a study permit, or they have applied for study permit online before September 15th to start their program in the fall. Of course, that's also pending on the full approval of their study permit. Now, as there's no guarantee that all study permit application will be approved, so I strongly recommend that the student should apply for the study permit as soon as possible by September 15th to be eligible for the two-stage study permit approval process. Many of you may have already been aware that the government of Canada has implemented travel restriction that stops non-essential travel for most foreign nationals entering Canada, with only a few exceptions. So the current travel restriction still remains unchanged, as what was already mentioned in the pre-recording video. And depending on how COVID-19 continues to evolve, the travel restriction may be lifted, changed, or extended further. So it's strongly recommended that you should closely monitor the Government of Canada's website for updates on the travel restriction. We also wanted to point out that ultimately, it will be up to the border service officer at a port of entry to determine if the students meet the travel exemptions or if they will be traveling for essential purpose, which means that their physical presence in Canada is essential for them to participate in the program in the fall. They may contact the Border Information Services for more information, and it's not up to the immigration officer or the visa office or the institution to confirm if the students are eligible to meet the travel restriction or if they can enter Canada. Also, all international travelers must quarantine for 14 days upon their arrival in Canada, and they also must have a credible self-isolation plan. So please visit our COVID-19 FAQ page for more information on tips and resources on the quarantine arrangements. During this global pandemic, as parents and families, I know that you must have a lot of questions and concerns about how your student can access medical services or what medical insurance coverage they have during their stay in Canada. So all international students at SFU must have both primary and secondary medical insurance to ensure that they have adequate coverage during their time here. New international students starting in the fall term will actually be automatically enrolled in a private medical insurance known as GARMI at SFU upon their enrollment in the fall term. So if students will begin their program online outside of Canada in the fall, they may apply to opt out the GARMI at SFU plan before the specific deadlines. Students will not be automatically re-enrolled into the GARMI plan after completion of their first term because it is students' responsibility to apply for BC Medical Service Plan, which is a provincial government and managed medical service plan as soon as they are eligible. For example, upon their arrival in BC, or if they're currently actually residing in BC, then they should apply for that if they haven't done that. So for more information about the primary and secondary insurance and how to apply to opt out GARMI at SFU or how to apply for BCMSP, again, visit our website for more information. So I know that you probably have more questions. I'd be happy to answer those questions in the FAQ part. But next, I'm going to pass the mic to my colleague, Ricky, at Health and Counseling Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mei-Ling. Hi, everyone. My name is Ricky. If we can go to the next slide, Precious, that'll be amazing. So as Precious mentioned, I am the Transition Case Manager here at SFU Health and Counseling. I would like to provide you with a quick overview of our services available here at Health and Counseling. We have a team of doctors, psychologists, and mental health nurses available to help you during your studies here. Our doctors are well trained to provide both physical and mental health services. Our counselors are free and available to any currently registered students to address any topics they may have. We have a variety of online courses and resources available to students to maintain their well-being during their studies. These resources are free of charge on our website. Please note that due to COVID-19, many of our services are going online, and we are seeing students through Zoom or by telephone. If you need to see one of our providers, please call the numbers listed on this slide. An important reminder is that due to medical laws, we are not able to provide services to anyone who is not residing in British Columbia at the moment. If we can move to the next slide, please. As mentioned, I am the Transition Case Manager, and my role here is unique to supporting students from international pathways and their transition into SFU. Transition can be many things, and I'm able to provide a range of support in areas such as mental health, culture shock, medical systems and services, social and recreational support, intercultural communication, and information about the Canadian labor market. I am more than happy to provide support to any student, and you can make an appointment by calling the number on this slide. Next slide, please. As I first mentioned, if you are not in BC, we are not able to provide any services to you, but we have the My SSP program, or the My Student Support Program. This is a free mental health program available to any SFU student. You can access it even if you are not in Canada. The program is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call the number listed on the slide, or you can download the app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Thanks for listening to me. I will now turn it back to Precious.
Thank you, Ricky. We're going to move this slide again, and this time we're going to launch another Zoom poll question, just to get a bit more engagement in the session today. And I'm going to ask my colleague Mei-Ling if she could please launch the Zoom poll question. So this question is just to help us get to know your student a bit more. Please select a category that best describes your international undergraduate student who will be joining us for this fall term. So there's several options: transferring to SFU from FIC, transferring to SFU from another post-secondary institution, your student who has attended high school in Canada, a student who has attended high school outside of Canada, or other than the above. looks like a number of people have voted so far. Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit just to see if we have a couple more responses. So from the poll, it looks like most of the students who will be joining us or attended high school from outside of Canada. And then we also have a few folks whose students are transferring to SFU from FIC and who attended high school in Canada. So thank you so much for engaging, really appreciate that. So moving on, I'm actually gonna pass the mic on to my colleague Tina from Student Engagement and Retention.
Thank you, Precious. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tina. I am an academic advisor in student engagement and retention, and I'm just here to share a little bit about the resources and services that we offer. Within our department, we offer academic advising, orientation and welcome programs, as well as leadership and peer programs. So in short, we offer a lot of support for students who are transitioning into the university. Next slide, please. Thank you. This is a quick timeline of the orientation and welcome programs our department has been offering to students who are admitted in fall 2020. Students are currently encouraged to participate in SFU 101, which is a free online course to help with the transition into university. Within SFU 101 this year, we've created a fun and engaging way to build a virtual community to make new friends and help students find a group of students to connect with in the virtual environment. This program is called the HIVE program. HIVE stands for Home for Interactive Virtual Engagement. This program, I think, is of particular interest to students because it's going to pair students or group students with fellow students who are taking some of the same courses or who may live in the same time zone or have similar social interests. Next slide, please. With academic advising, our team of advisors are available to help students explore and plan their courses as well as programs. We refer students to campus resources such as the Student Learning Commons or up-to-date COVID-related support and resource information. We also support students in their academic journey and encourage students to be involved on campus. An example of the resources that are available to students academically are the Student Learning Commons, who offers a lot of supports for topics related to time management, how to prepare for exams, and they've recently created an extensive online resources page to provide students with success strategies for online learning. Next slide, please. So who do we advise? So student engagement and retention is housed within student services. So as advisors in this area, we work with students who are new to SFU and in the first half of their degree. So students who have less than 60 units of credit coursework completed. We work with undeclared students, and I will speak to this more in a few moments. We speak to students who are admitted to a faculty, but not necessarily in a specific program. So for example, your student may have been admitted to the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences or the Faculty of Science, but not necessarily into a specific program. We also work with students who are interested in switching their program. And lastly, we work with students who are experiencing any type of academic difficulty during their time at SFU. If a student has been directly admitted to a specific program, such as the BD School of Business, pursuing the business major program, they should connect directly with their undergraduate or departmental advisor. And to find the information for a departmental advisor, they can quickly search SFU departmental advisors, which will take them to a database that lists all department advisors on campus. Next slide. So to connect with us, we strongly recommend that students do connect with us during their transition to SFU. During the pandemic, we are offering virtual and phone appointments as well as a live chat. So every day of the week, Monday to Friday, we do offer virtual drop-in appointments as well as live help. Live help is a secure online instant messaging system where students can chat directly with an academic advisor. New incoming students have also been emailed by an academic advisor, so please have your student check their SFU mail inbox for a message from our team. The website at the bottom lists all of our contact information. And just a friendly reminder that students' personal information and records are protected by our privacy policies, also known as FIPA. When booking appointments, please make sure that your student is available to provide their information. That is everything.
Thank you so much, Karen, Maylene, Enrique, and Tina for the presentations that you provided. We know that there's a lot of information in a short period of time. We're going to ask you at this point in time, if you do have any questions, so feel free to include that in the chat box. What I'm going to do is I'll look at the questions, I'll read them out, and I will try to direct those questions to our lovely presenters this morning. And presenters, feel free as well to chime in on any questions that you think needs additional information.